All right, guys, welcome back to another video on the super duper world of sports. And today is week 5 power rankings day, and we have a lot of teams that really improved this week, definitely showing improvements like the Bengals, the 49ers. Meanwhile, the Rams and Colts continue to drop in the power rankings. Let's look into that. Number 32, as always, the Houston Texans. Even though they're facing the Jaguars this week, this is a different Jaguars team, and the Texans have shown no signs of improvement or that they can compete. And number 31 is the Carolina Panthers. Very disappointing start from Baker Mayfield. Has not been able to develop chemistry with really any of his weapons. Christian McCaffrey has been heavily leaned on. He's getting more carries than reception. That is a problem. And they're facing the 49ers defense this week, and that is a recipe for disaster. Washington Commanders are at number 30. They're 1-3 now. They're coming off a loss against the division rival Dallas Cowboys, and they're playing at home against the Titans this week, which, again, just like the Panthers 49ers game, it's a recipe for disaster on both sides of the ball. I mean, Titans are better offensively by a mile. Derrick Henry, Traylon Burks is injured, but you still have Ryan Tannehill. You've got all those weapons there, and the defense is not exceptional, but it's definitely better than the Commanders' defense. Number 29, Chicago Bears, and they're playing at US Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. Bears are now 2-2. They should be 1-3, but whatever. Um, so Kirk Cousins usually he goes lights out in October. That's just how he is. That's just how his career has gone so far, and I obviously expect that to continue. And plus, it's the Bears, and the Vikings have always owned the Bears a lot, so Vikings are gonna definitely win this one. Number 28, New York Jets, at home against the Miami Dolphins. Uh, Even with the Tua out, Teddy Bridgewater is going to lead them to this win. They're going to hold on. New York Jets might be a little bit of a low-scoring game, but nonetheless, Jets are not going to win this one. Number 27, Steelers, who lost to the Jets this last week, are traveling to Buffalo to play the Bills. And, yeah, I mean, just by those two sentences, lost to the Jets and facing the Bills now in Buffalo, both equate to absolute beatdown of the Steelers. Number 26, Seattle Seahawks at New Orleans. Michael Thomas and Jameis Winston probably won't play for the Saints. So the Seahawks have a real chance of winning this one, in my opinion. Andy Dalton, Red Rifle, is probably going to start again. He was exceptional against Minnesota in London. And Chris Olave definitely showed as a wide receiver one potential guy. So we'll have to see if that is what the case is again. But we're talking more about the Saints. Seattle Seahawks. DK Metcalf has no problem with the quarterback change to Geno Smith. In fact, he's doing even better with Geno Smith. And the defense of the Seattle Seahawks hopefully will hold up against the Saints. I don't have full confidence that it will, but I do have a decent level of confidence in that premise. Number 25, the 1-2-1 Indianapolis Colts. They're going to Mile High Stadium to play the Denver Broncos. It's Thursday Night Football on Prime Video, and it's going to be a pretty dismal showing from the Colts, as have been their last few games. Matt Ryan keeps fumbling, all because of the offensive line, by the way, and no connection whatsoever. There have been signs, there have been moments of spark, but they have been few. And Russell Wilson is gonna have his mid-season MVP run kind of thing here, and then he's gonna probably get back to average quarterback play after that. But yeah, Denver Broncos are gonna win this one easily. Number 24, New England Patriots. They're at home against the Detroit Lions. If Amon-Ra St. Brown and DeAndre Swift are still out, then Man, I don't know, man. The Patriots might be able to pull this one off, unfortunately. But if they're in, heck yeah, the Lions are winning easily. I mean, Patriots have Bailey Zappi at quarterback. They somehow almost beat the Packers, but they're going to lose to the Lions here. Number 23, Atlanta Falcons are facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 23 in the ranking, and they're 2-2, coming off a win against the Cleveland Browns. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers own the Atlanta Falcons. Ever since Tom Brady came to town, the Atlanta Falcons have been at the mercy of Tampa Bay. Number 22, Jacksonville Jaguars, uh, 2-2 as well, and they're at home against the Houston Texans, as we mentioned earlier. As long as they don't get cooked by Damian Pierce and Brandon Cooks, they should be all right. Yeah, those are like the only two concerns, pretty much. If those two can be contained, then the win is theirs. Number 21, the 2-2 Cleveland Browns, coming off a loss against the Atlanta Falcons. They're this low because of that Atlanta Falcons loss, because it's the Atlanta Falcons. Nobody loses to the Atlanta Falcons. So the Cleveland Browns are at home, and they're facing the Los Angeles Chargers. The Browns actually have a real shot at winning this one. Chargers are still not at full health, man. Keenan Allen I don't think he's back yet, and he probably won't play this week either. That means Cleveland really has a chance to limit things on offense. Or on defense, sorry. Number 20, 3-1 are the New York Giants, and Green Bay's the home team. Doesn't really matter, though, because the game is happening in London, the second London game of the year. And the Giants barely are going to have Daniel Jones for Sunday morning, which means the Packers defense should feast on them. Except Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley might be a little bit of a problem. But yeah, other than that, Green Bay Packers defense should be able to get many interceptions and fumble recoveries, perhaps, because I don't even know who's going to start if Daniel Jones is out, because Tyrod Taylor is out as well. So slim chances for the New York Giants here. Number 19, the 1-3 Detroit Lions. Unfortunate that they're at 1-3, dropped to 19 in the power rankings, traveling to Foxborough to play the New England Patriots. Bill Belichick deserves to lose here, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Detroit is going to eke out the win against the New England Patriots here. Number 18, Saints at home against the Seattle Seahawks. They're 1-3, of course, coming off that heartbreaking loss against the Vikings. Last second field goal by Greg Joseph sunk them in overtime. Not in overtime, fourth quarter, and end of the fourth quarter. That was the first line of the game, of course. Now this time, if they don't have Michael Thomas or Jameis Winston, I see their win chances dropping by quite a bit, actually. Jameis Winston, maybe not so much, but Michael Thomas, not having Michael Thomas is a pretty big disadvantage. Chris Olave, after everything that he's been doing, Chris Olave is also just a rookie, so you can't expect him to be doing everything for the New Orleans Saints here. Of course, they do. I do believe that the Saints are the favorite here to win this game still. Number 17, the 2-2 Arizona Cardinals. They're hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, which it's going to be a loss for them. 5-0. Philadelphia Eagles going to be 5-0. I don't trust the coaching of Cliff Kingsbury. I don't think anybody trusts his coaching at this point. But yeah, that is the main reason Cardinals are going to lose this game. Number 16, Denver Broncos at home against the Indianapolis Colts on Thursday Night Football. 2-2, the Broncos are coming off an interesting loss to the Las Vegas Raiders. They succumbed to the wrath of Josh Jacobs for once, but this should be quite a bounce back game for them. Indianapolis Colts, definitely a favorable matchup in many aspects, and so the Denver Broncos, I have them winning this one quite easily. Number 15, Las Vegas Raiders at Kansas City Chiefs on Monday Night Football. Josh Jacobs should be able to have his way. Derek Carr got to show a little bit more chemistry with Devontae Adams, man. Adams hasn't had the most productive year yet, but I do think that will improve with the Raiders' first win coming last week. I think it's starting to turn up for them. Still going to lose to the Chiefs, though. Number 14, Los Angeles Chargers at Cleveland. They're 2-2. They're injury riddled, and I am hopeful that they'll win. But then again, I am also skeptical that the Chargers might lose this game because of all those injuries, and also because of the inconsistency as of late. Uh, Austin Eckler, sometimes good, sometimes a non-factor. So far this season, I mean, not throughout his career. Throughout his career, he's always been a huge factor of the Chargers' offense. But this year in particular, I mean, last week, because it was against the Texans, he went off. But before that, I mean, he wasn't as involved as we are used to him being. So it'd be an interesting matchup there. Number 13, Dallas Cowboys, actually, kind of surprising leap for them. Cooper Rush has made little to no errors in his, kind of temporary tenure with the Dallas Cowboys here and as the starting quarterback. And they're going to SoFi Stadium to play the Los Angeles Rams. I do believe they're a little bit of an underdog here, but with how Cooper Rush has been playing lately, I can easily see them winning the game as well. I could have this going either way. Cowboys they have a better record than the Los Angeles Rams, coming off a win against the Washington Commanders. The momentum is in their favor. Number 12 is the Los Angeles Rams, who are of course facing the Cowboys. They're 2-2, and their offense relies far too much on just one guy. Cooper Kupp can't be handling the workload for the entire season like this. I mean, he's also just human, man. He can't handle like 500 catches and 2,500 receiving yards. It's just ridiculous. He can't handle an entire team's offense on his own. I mean, it's got to be spread out more than this, more than it actually is. I still have them ahead of the Cowboys just based on talent on paper, but I mean, it's not looking too good for them right now. Number 11, Tennessee Titans, 2-2 at Washington, going to Landover, and the Tennessee Titans, on the back of Derrick Henry, will win this game. Ryan Tannehill, definitely a favorable matchup in a passing game for him as well. Washington Commanders letting up quite a bit of production to quarterbacks this season, and I see Ryan Tannehill as no exception to this. I think he's going to be lights out against the Commanders. Number 10, the 3-1 Minnesota Vikings, coming off a huge momentum booster in their win against the New Orleans Saints in London. And they're at home against the division rival, if you will. Kind of division rival, Chicago Bears. Again, we talked about how Kirk Cousins is a top 10 quarterback in October, and it's the Bears he's playing, and he has always had success against the Chicago Bears, and I think we're definitely going to see more of that, with no exception to this one. Number 9, Miami Dolphins at New York Jets. Even if it isn't a blowout, they should be able to eke out the win with Teddy Bridgewater at the helm. Going to be 4-1 by the end of this week. Still looking okay for the Dolphins. Number 8, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're coming off a kind of a tough fought loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs finally got their revenge in the Super Bowl. I predicted that it would be like Tampa Bay Buccaneers 30 to Kansas City Chiefs 37. Pretty dang close with that. Definitely a good prediction. But yeah, so number 8, 2-2. I think this is a pretty fair ranking. And Tom Brady has owned the Atlanta Falcons ever since he came to Tampa Bay, and that is also why I have them winning by a lot here. Number 7, the 2-2 Baltimore Ravens, coming off quite an interesting loss against the Buffalo Bills at home, though. Even in this Sunday Night Football game, they're at home facing the division rival Cincinnati Bengals on Sunday Night Football. Lamar Jackson should be able to carry them to a narrow victory. But if Lamar Jackson falters here, if the Bengals defense is able to shut down Lamar, then I could see it going the Bengals' way. But for now, the Ravens team seems talented enough to pull out the win. Number 6, directly above the Baltimore Ravens, actually. I have the Cincinnati Bengals. Man, I mean, they have won 2 straight. They just beat the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football. And even though they're going to Baltimore for Sunday Night Football here, uh, I have them winning. I mean, just as a hometown favorite for sure, but also because uh, the chemistry that has been forming between Joe Burrow and every one of his receivers, not just with Jamar Chase, but we've seen him spread the ball to many receivers, including Hayden Hurst. And Joe Mixon has been heavily involved. If Joe Mixon can turn that volume into actual efficiency, just imagine what he could be doing on the ground. Into the top 5 with the Green Bay Packers, who are 3-1. They're the home team technically against the New York Giants, but they're playing in London. Aaron Rodgers he's always had a pretty good history in the international games, and I don't think this will be any different. So Packers win here against the New York Giants. Number 4, San Francisco 49ers at Carolina Panthers. Deebo Samuel should be a horror for the Carolina Panthers, as should the 49ers defense. With how dysfunctional the Carolina Panthers offense is shown to be this season thus far, the San Francisco 49ers defense should feast on them. And that's why I have them so high at number 4 here. Also because they are coming off a win against the Los Angeles Rams. Number 3, Philadelphia Eagles, who are still undefeated, at Arizona Cardinals this week. Should stay undefeated as long as Jalen Hurts, does half as good as he did in weeks 1 or 2 or 3, honestly. So, yeah, Kyler Murray, I see the talent there, but I mean, I'm not saying Kyler Murray is bad. It's just that the Arizona Cardinals simply are not as good as the Philadelphia Eagles. Plus, the Eagles' defense has been top 5 so far. Number 2, 3-1 are the Buffalo Bills, and they're at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Eagles Bills would be a nice matchup to see, though. But yeah, Pittsburgh Steelers, they did play last year, and it was interesting to say the least. But Buffalo should be able to get an easy win here. Steelers have gotten lucky at most so far, and that equates to a huge win for the Buffalo Bills here. Number 1, Kansas City Chiefs 3-1, and they're going up against Las Vegas on Monday Night Football. Should be a pretty smooth victory for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But Derek Carr and Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, and the Las Vegas Raiders have a strong case to make this a close one. And I really think that if the Chiefs take this too easily, Raiders could take advantage of that and win this game. Yeah, that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this Week 5 Power Rankings video. I will be back next week with a Week 6. We'll see how these matchups go. Got a lot of divisional matchups early on here in the season. And yeah, hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.